Welcome to the Mixed Reception Podcast. I'm your host, Barrett Sigmund, and today, special guest, huge guest, we got Evan Hartley. What is up, Evan?
Hey, Barrett. Happy to be here. Glad to be here. Nothing too much. I'm really excited to talk about Cruel Intentions because this is one of my favorite hot garbage movies.
I should say it is Valentine's Day, so this movie is kind of fitting.
It is, yeah.
In a fucked up sort of way. I mean, it is kind of a romance movie, a little bit.
According to some, yes. I was shocked at how some people actually genuinely enjoy this movie.
So you don't like this movie?
No.
Do you like it in a guilty pleasure way?
Exactly. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: like, what is your? And first of all, for anyone who doesn't know, Evan we were on a group together called the Pre Madonnas, a sketch group. She is in Chicago now. Are you? Well, I guess everything's shut down. Are you doing anything like any sketch groups or any improv?
I was about a year ago, and then I've done some things online. I've been writing a lot, but
anything you care to plug?
Yep. To be quite honest, not really. I may do like a retroactive plug a few weeks from now where I'll send you shit to plug later.
Okay. But yeah, I asked you. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, I wanted to get you on the show and you gave me some suggestions. I almost went with Con Air. But I feel like if we're going to do Con Air, which I want to do eventually, I think we have to get Matt Cole in on Con Air because he's like the biggest Nick Cage fan.
Yeah.
But you, one of your suggestions was Cruel Intentions, and I was like, ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what's your experience with this movie? Like, how'd you hear about it? When was the first time you saw it?
So the first time that I saw it, I actually was working at Narrow Video. Not Narrow Video. I was working at Narrow Expanded Cinema next door, the movie theater.
Okay.
And they were showing it as like a throwback movie night. And everyone was telling me like, they're like, oh, it's bad. And I'm like, well, it seems like a lot of people are actually into this. I'm like, it can't be that bad. And they're like, go up and watch it after you're done with your shift. And I was like, okay. And so I went up and watched it, and holy shit, they were right.
Holy crap. We'll get into notes and stuff. I kind of like the movie.
You do? Okay.
I think I have a bit of nostalgia for it. It seems like you've seen this movie relatively, like you saw this like really not that long ago, because I saw this probably like when I was a teenager.
Yeah. And the modern lens does change it. It does not age well in the sense of the events of the movie taking place.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into it. I don't know. I don't know. I think this is just one of those like teen movies that I just kind of, I don't know. I had a soft spot for.
Yeah. I mean, it does feel like Riverdale before Riverdale.
I have not really gotten into Riverdale.
Neither have I, but just based on what I know about it, just the general vibe of teenagers who dress like they're 40. And have going on in their own lives.
So, well, actually, it's worth noting too. Like this was based on like a book. Let's see if I get the name right.
It was based on an old French book.
Yeah, I wrote it. Les Liaisons Dangereuses. It's like a French book from the 1700s.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
I have not.
It's also worth noting this is like 99. This is the late 90s, and I feel like around this time, like a lot of teen movies would take like a lot of older novels, a lot of Shakespeare stuff. I mean, this isn't Shakespeare, but like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, like that was like based on an old thing that Shakespeare wrote. I think She's All That. That was kind of the thing back then. Like, let's take an old story and set it in a modern day setting with like the hottest young talent out there today. So.
Well, I guess that's the thing about it, is that it really is trying so hard to be amazing. And I think that's like, if there's a correlation between that and Con Air, is that they're both movies that were really trying to knock it out of the park, and I feel like they missed on every occasion.
Okay, this is interesting. All right, so let's go into let's set the time here. Let's go over reviews at the time. So this movie did have mixed reviews. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 56%. But the audience, 81%. So, like, people seem to really like this movie. Metacritic, 56. IMDb, 6.8. On Rotten Tomatoes, I'll read the consensus and tell me what you think. This darkly comic drama and its attractive young cast are easy on the eyes, but uneven performances and an uninspired script conspire to fail cruel intentions. So, what do you think about that consensus?
You know what? I think it's fair. I mean, the script's rough, and I definitely think so. I think it's trying way too hard. Like, it's trying really hard to be witty. It's trying really hard to be smart, and also, there's just no subtlety. Where it's like, okay, if we're trying to go for like this whole like we're so smart thing, then why are we talking so blatantly about everything that's going on?
Yeah, I guess it's not very subtle. I'll give you that. I don't know. I thought the performances were good. I don't think there's anyone who's like too bad. There are some cheesy moments, which we'll get into in notes, but I don't know.
Here's the thing. I do believe everyone's trying their best. I will say that. But I think it's more direction than acting. It feels like for 90 minutes, Sarah Michelle Gellar is polishing a turd. That's what it felt like watching this.
I think she's awesome in this movie.
I think she is doing her best with what she got. I think that she's definitely like, I think she's definitely the best performance in the movie.
I can't help but think. I was like watching this movie, and there's that scene where like she's kind of like teasing. I'm God. The actor's name is
Ryan Felipe.
Ryan Felipe.
Yes.
And I was just thinking, like, how awkward would that be on the set to like just act this out and deliver that dialogue?
Wait, you mean the world's worst lap dance where her ass is past his knees?
Wait, well, no, she's not that low.
She is that low. I know because I watched it last night and I made notes. She is so low. It looks like she started a lap dance and then she slipped halfway through, but she caught herself.
Whatever she was doing, I don't know. She's sexy as hell in this movie, I think.
She is very sexy. I will give her that. I just think that, again, I don't think it's an acting issue as much as a directing issue.
I will say that I looked up the director. His name is escaping me, but I looked up like his filmography, and he did. I don't know if you remember this movie, Furry Vengeance with Brendan Fraser.
Oh my God, he did that movie too. Oh
yeah. So I think this was like this is obviously the thing he's most well known for, but yeah, I don't think I think he was kind of like one of those like just kind of. He's a director who will probably do whatever the studio wants him to. Like, here, direct this shitty Brendan Fraser movie where he talks to animals. Yeah, okay.
Like, I'll do it.
All right, so I'm gonna read a couple of reviews. Some of them are positive, some of them are kind of mixed, some of them are like bad. I'll start off with a positive. Tell me what you think.
Okay, hit me.
Susan Thompson, Washington Post, 3.5 out of 4. A witty, raunchy comedy which proves that a well-written piece of business oozing with sex, wit, and nasty intrigue works for any generation. I mean, I don't know, it worked for me.
No, I definitely disagree with that. I think, let's see.
I don't know, maybe I'm a dumbass. I didn't think the dialogue, I don't know. I thought Ryan Felipe and Sarah Michelle Gellar, like their whole like chemistry, their whole interplay, I thought it was well done. I thought the dialogue was good, and they sold it to me.
The whole thing just felt forced. Like, that was kind of the only thing while watching is like I felt like they were doing a good job, like they were delivering it the best that they could, but it just didn't feel like anything an actual person would say, super rich and elite or not.
I might give you that. I will say, like, watching this movie, and I watched it, like, I got up really early this morning and watched it, but, like, it does feel like this could turn into a porno at any time.
Yeah, and also, like, no offense, I don't know why everyone in this community that they're part of is so involved in their teenager sex lives, where he's like, what will this do for my reputation? And I'm like, who the fuck cares? I knew so many people, and I never given a fuck about any of their sex lives up until this point.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I do want to talk about that, where Sarah Michelle Gellar's like, you only broke up with her because it would mess up your reputation. And then I was kind of thinking that. I was just like, who cares?
I'm like, I don't think anyone cares. Now, I would like to talk about what I truly think is, I think, the worst performance.
Well, okay. We'll get into that in categories. I have categories, and one of the categories is worst performance. We'll say that towards the end.
I apologize. Also, I don't think it's that sexy, to be quite honest. I would like to talk about the most forced lesbian makeout scene of all time.
Oh, I have that in notes. We'll get to it. I think we're on the same page with a lot of our notes. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times. That's your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
He gave it 3 out of 4. It crash lands with an ending of soapy moralizing, but until the end, it's smart and merciless in the tradition of the original story. Now, the ending is a little cheesy, like especially the death scene. We'll talk about some of the.
Oh my god! Well, also, how about the fact that this dude? So, what I think is interesting about viewing this through a modern lens is that if you look at it as bare bones without any of the bells and whistles, it's a man. It's a teenager sexually assaulting people for about 90 minutes, and then releasing a diary of them, and that for some reason makes it better.
You know what? Yeah, that is worth noting. Like, yeah, like he is. Well, yeah.
He gets multiple women drunk and photographs them naked, which is not cool.
Yeah, I mean that it's never been all right, but I think especially the political climate today. I mean, I think this movie. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it doesn't really age well.
It doesn't age well. The gay blackmail also does not age well.
There's a gay. The black guy's not gay.
No. There's gay. No, not the black guy's gay. They blackmail one of the gay guys at their school.
Oh yeah. Which you're all right. I mean, there are some things that are dated. Like I feel like if this movie wouldn't get made today. I mean,
no way in hell.
I feel like in a lot of movies and shows now, I mean, they're like that. It's pretty common to have a gay character who's open and proud, not trying to hide who they are.
No. I mean, it's also like, it's funny though, because I feel like it's trying to make a statement.
What statement is that?
But I don't know. I guess probably about the purity of love and how love can fix even the most broken of men. All you need is the love of a pure woman like Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, Lord. This one, I think you'll agree with this review. This is more of a mixed one. David Denny, The New Yorker. It's not boring, given the subject. How could it be? But almost nothing in it works. I knew you'd like that one. I don't know. The movie worked for me. I mean, obviously it didn't work for you. You think it's just forced and kind of...
Here's the thing, though. I will say this. It goes full hog, which I appreciate. Like, and that's what I enjoy about a good, bad movie. Is that, like, you know what? It may be pure garbage, but it really did try, and it gave 100% from beginning to end.
It did try. It did give 100%. And I got one last one. This is a negative review. 1 out of 4. Peter Travers, Rolling Stone. It's not the trite talk that sends cruel intentions into a tailspin. It's the lightweight casting. So, yeah, he hated the dialogue and he hated the casting. I mean, I disagree. That's just me.
I disagree with the casting. The dialogue definitely felt a little bit like, you know, I'm going to talk like this. And then it felt like they tried to make every conversation a chess match.
That's what kind of worked for me. I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, you're right. They're verbally sparring. A lot of it is kind of trying to outwit each other. The Sarah Michelle Gellar character and Brian Felipe. Like, I don't know. I thought it worked for me. I liked it.
And it may have. Listen, I believe that there is a pot. There's a lid for every pot. There's a movie for every person. So just because it's not my cup of tea, does not take away from the joy it brings others. It's. Oh my God, though. There's just so much, like, my favorite thing is when he finally breaks it off with Catherine. And he's like, listen, I don't want to, first of all, we have our step-sibling sex arrangement, which feels very dysfunctional. And the parents are so unaware that they don't even know that their children have this weird dynamic.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you don't see them at all. I'm like, they don't go to their house at all. Like, we don't even see them, like, walking in the background.
I think that's the point, though. I think their parents are just so, like, just sucked up in their bullshit, like they're high class and they're, you know what I mean? I think their kids do fall by the wayside, and that's why they're kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and I think that's the point they were trying to make. I kind of wish, though, that we kind of saw the parents earlier and just kind of active neglect, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen a little bit of insight into their home life. Yeah, I mean, they were only mentioned. It seemed like you could have done something with that.
I also enjoyed that Felipe and Sarah Michelle have, like, sibling meetings about their sexual conquest. Like, throughout the movie, they just kind of, like, meet up, and they're like, so, how's it going banging the virgin?
You know what? I'm fine with that because they're not even related. They're stepbrother and sister. They're both fucking hot. Like, why not?
I don't particularly care about that. And I was like, I don't really particularly care about that dynamic. I just think that there's so much in this movie so it's kind of like an improv thing. You know how, like, we look for the weird?
Yeah.
I feel like this movie's all weird.
It definitely is weird.
From the opening where he has the worst therapist of all time.
Well, should we get into notes? I had 3 pages of notes initially. I'll show you them. And then I condensed them into 1 page. That was my first thing I wrote was the opening therapy session. I love how he's like, hey, can I keep this book? Oh, a signed autograph book that you, and then she's just like writes in her notes like bill for the book.
Bill for the book.
That was funny. But no, I love this scene too because why is he even in therapy? I guess he's having parent issues.
I'm assuming that it's his parents like finally figuring out about his reputation about town. Like it finally got to the point where it's affecting them. And they're like, okay, horn dog, you gotta go talk to a therapist about this issue.
But I love how Tara Reid is in this for like 2 minutes, like not even 2 minutes. And she's like, she calls the therapist, which is the mom. And then she's like, oh my God, he put naked pictures on the internet. And I just love like the old, like, you got the box, like, oh, this is so 90s. I fucking loved it. It took me back in time.
Oh yeah. And like
I love the old internet.
Neon. It's like a neon website.
Yes. And it's like early Photoshop. And basically she like, he took the book that she gave him and like put her body in, and it says great parenting for how to raise a slut.
Which is like, oh my God. And then I think that's just like really fucking funny. Also, I love that the therapist just doesn't keep calm. She doesn't act like a therapist in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Like, she doesn't keep calm. She doesn't ask him about himself. She has active disdain towards him.
Yes.
I get, but like if you're someone's therapist, I feel like you at least need to try to relate to them.
Well, I feel like they've probably done this for a while, and she's just like sick of his bullshit.
She's like, fine. I also like when he says, well, you have legs for days, and she doesn't correct him.
she kind of likes it probably a little bit.
Yeah, no, there is a moment where and you can see it where the like told her to react like intrigued, like, oh, what if I
fuck this teenager?
Yeah, which I'm like, no, teenager, bad in general, no. Second of all, like, he's like, well, you have nice legs, and I'm like, why would that be intriguing to you? You're at work. Yeah,
no, it's totally inappropriate. And also, I raised this question. Maybe I'm just, I don't know, like this therapist office is in a mall? Like, that was weird to me. Is that common? That was weird.
No, I don't think it is a common thing. I wasn't sure if it was a mall or a really fancy business complex.
Oh, you think so? I felt to me like it was a mall. I just meets up with some random chick and it's like, hey, baby, let's go get lunch.
That's the funny thing about it, too, is that every woman, I feel like nothing he says is charming, and every woman's like, oh, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, if someone that I was next to was like, someone needs therapy, and I'd be like, shouldn't we see if she's okay? Like, if there's a woman screaming on the second floor, I don't think that I would engage in the mockery.
That's a good point. Also, my next note, we're introduced to the Selma Blair character, which is Cecile.
What?
Cecile, I think is her name.
Yeah, Cecile. I call her the horny toddler, which is
holy shit. Like she is. I think she plays her role. I mean, the way the role is written, I think she plays it very well. But Jesus Christ, Selma Blair is obnoxious as fuck in this movie.
Oh my god, I know. Well, I mean, like she really listen. I think the actress really tried, but I think the character's so horribly written. The koala shirt.
Oh, that's what I wrote down. I was like, Jesus Christ, ugliest T-shirt ever. And I like how she's like so inept. Like she's never had any like. Well, she doesn't know how to act, like, at all, like, properly. She's got her legs spread. And I love when Ryan Felipe is like, hey, how is it down under?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. She's so awkward. She's, like, too. She's
playing too dumb. Like, too naive and too dumb. Like, it really is, like, she acts like she's 4.
So what is the whole thing? It's like, okay, so her mom is, like, what? Trying to get her into the school? And then I think Sarah Michelle Gellar is supposed to, like, take her under her wing.
Yeah, I think she's about to go to the school.
Okay. All right.
She's at all-girls school, and this is her first time being at school with girls and boys.
Okay.
It's a Sarah Michelle Gellar. Also, I have no clue how old they are. Like, I can't figure it out. They're either, like, 14 or 50.
I think they're supposed to be, like, I don't know, like, juniors, seniors.
That's I figured that I was doing like 16, but if you base it on like the performances, where it's like there's no consistency in how people act at their age, where it's like there's Selma Blair
who's like she's fucking 10,
and then there's Sarah Michelle Gellar who's dressing like she's about to go to a business interview throughout the whole thing, except for the corset with the blazer.
Oh my God, her outfits in this, she's so peak hotness for Sarah Michelle Gellar.
We will, yeah. I will say this. Freddie Prinze Jr. is a lucky man.
He is. She's still fine too. Yeah. So I guess the whole thing is Sarah Michelle Gellar wants to get back at Cecile because Cecile. Huh.
No. So Sarah Michelle Gellar, I guess she was dating Cecile's current boyfriend.
Yes, that's right.
And so she wants to get back at the boyfriend by having Cecile sleep with everyone on the planet.
Yes, but also too, I think Catherine, Sarah Michelle Gellar, blew her boyfriend, and then he fell asleep when, and I think that pissed her off.
Yeah, well, he was drinking. No, he broke up with her.
Oh, that's right.
That. Yeah, because it was like a whole thing where she's like, I went to great lengths to maintain his happiness, which is like, I see sex as a tool.
Yeah, so we kind of have like two like stories going on here. So yeah, Catherine wants to get back at Cecile. And then Ryan Felipe, Sebastian, he wants to he's bored. He wants a challenge. He wants a sexual conquest that's an actual challenge. And and I guess there's like the kind of young virgin. There's a virgin, Annette. She's like, they got the magazine, 17 magazine, like reasons why I am a virgin and all that stuff. And like, that's his challenge. He wants to fuck her. And if he fucks her successfully, his stepsister, Catherine, will fuck his brains out, quote. Which I love that scene too. Because he's like, I'll give you something you've been wanting for a long time. And he's like, be more specific. She's like, I'll fuck your brains out. And then he's still like, But then, only then, she's like, you can put it wherever you want. Oh, I can fuck her in the ass. Now I'm interested.
That's the thing. We all knew what he thought. His eyes lit up like a fucking Christmas tree.
But yeah, that's kind of the gist of the movie. Like, that's the plot.
Yeah, it's rich people in these games they play plot. Like, that's really it. Where it's like people who have way too much time on their hands do stupid shit.
Pretty much. I put Gay Pacey from Dawson's Creek. I guess he uses... So he's friends with Gay Pacey, and then I guess there's this guy named Greg, which I love the Greg scene. You're introduced to Greg.
The Gregster!
Yeah, the Gregster, because he's like gay, but then he's like talking to his bros, and he's like, shut up, you dumb bitch, and suck my dick. Like, I love his introduction.
Yeah, he's like so clearly trying to like put on.
Great, yeah.
I've never seen anyone try to remain in the closet so hard.
Like, yeah, he's going to blackmail him because he wants him to put in a good word to Annette. because Annette knows that he has like this bad boy image, this bad reputation.
Yeah, Annette's the virgin and Reese Witherspoon.
Yes, Reese Witherspoon. Yes. So yeah, there's that scene. Go ahead.
Well, one thing I want to make note is that all these teenagers have offices in their own home. They all have and not only that, but they all look like lawyers' offices where everything's like a dark wood.
You know what? I bought it because their parents are so stinking rich. Just look at Michelle Gellar's bedroom. That's bigger than my entire house.
Yeah, they are rich. I also would like to make note of one thing.
Yes.
Everyone talks about how sexy Ryan Felipe is, and I don't mean to be harsh, but I don't see it. He's got that ramen hair that was so popular in the day.
Yes.
I can't stand.
Well, at the time, that was the style back then. I remember NSYNC. I remember Justin Timberlake had that. Like everybody wanted to fuck Justin Timberlake back then. Like that was the big. I remember that, and then frosted tips. Those were like the big hairstyles for dudes back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
We've all made our mistakes, but I don't. And also, he's the only teenager I've ever seen with reading glasses. He pulls out reading glasses to read the paper about Reese Witherspoon talking about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they don't act like teenagers. I'll grant you that. I don't know. Maybe we needed a scene where they were in high school. I don't know. There's that disconnect where it just they say they're in high school, but you don't really believe it.
I just feel like there's nothing grounding it in reality or making them relatable at all.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know. Maybe you're right. To go back to your point earlier, maybe if we saw a little bit of their home life with their parents, maybe we could sympathize with the characters a little more.
Maybe I kind of like the idea of them talking about banging each other, and their parents are in the background getting ready to fly to Milan, and either they A, ignore it, or B, are so wrapped up in their own shit that they don't even notice that they're.
I think it's both. I think these parents are so rich and they just don't give a shit.
Oh yeah, well I think you could really keep that up and still have them stay at be in the same room with them and just have a complete disconnect.
Yeah. I might be skipping ahead. Let me know, but my next point was the Selma Blair, Sarah Michelle Gellar kiss.
Oh. That was so we want a lesbian scene. How do we make a lesbian scene happen?
Yeah. Oh, you're totally right. Ooh, this is hot. But she's got no sexual experience. She even thinks kissing a boy is gross. You know what I mean? She doesn't even know how to do that. And then she's well, have you ever practiced on your girlfriend? And she's just ooh, yucky. She acts you're right. She acts like a fucking toddler. A little too much. I think too much in the other direction.
It does. It makes me uncomfortable watching her performance because she acts like a toddler the whole time. My favorite thing is that both of them push her off furniture multiple times throughout the film.
Yes.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar just shove her off furniture at random.
Oh yeah. Well, there's that one scene where Ryan Felipe just got done fucking her, and he's just writing in his journal. And I love how there's a bowl of cherries right beside the bed.
Her cherry pops.
Do you get it? She was a virgin. She got her cherry pops.
Also, who the hell? I don't know any teenager, no matter what economic status, that would put out hors d'oeuvres after. He's you know what? We really need a refreshment.
I love that. I fucking love cherries.
Listen, I'm not saying that. I would appreciate the gesture. I'm just saying I don't think I know anyone who as a 6-year-old boy would think that through. I also love that. I think it's the most sociopathic thing that he keeps a journal of his conquest. And not just a regular journal where he's just
hey, a really cool journal. He's got it's very creative. He's got like pictures and stuff. It's actually a pretty. It looks like it would have been a cool read, honestly.
Yeah. Oh no, let's be clear here. I would have read it beginning to end. My favorite thing is the rosary that holds the Coke and she sniffs it with the little scoop.
Oh yeah.
That goes throughout the whole thing. It opens up with Sarah Michelle Gellar doing so Sarah Michelle Gellar has this rosary.
Yes.
That is also a vessel for cocaine.
Yes.
Which is supposed to be a whole metaphor for she looks pure on the outside, but inside she's, I guess a monster.
Yeah, the visual metaphors are not so subtle.
No, they're definitely a little bit ham-fisted. After Ryan Felipe and Selma Blair get it on, she lost her virginity and she's eating a bowl of cherries. That's not
let me know if I'm missing anything. But my next point, Mrs. Caldwell, Cecile's mother. It's so fucked up and it's really funny. Like Catherine comes to visit her, and she's like, "Look, we need to talk about your daughter." And she's like, "Is it drugs?" She's like, "No, even worse. She's with that one guy." And he's like, "He's so black." And then I love how the guy comes by with like the tray, and she's like, "Coffee, black coffee, brown sugar. No sugar."
Oh my god. Yeah, how horrible is that entire scene? So like the guy is pre-Juilliard or whatever, and he's like her cello. He's
Yes.
Selma Blair's cello instructor, and I guess they bang on the side. And his character is the one that I don't understand the most.
I'm glad you brought that up. I don't understand him because like he's actually like madly in love with her. Like he writes her letters. Like that's a whole thing. But then he's like banging Sarah Michelle Gellar on the side. But he's like so in love with Selma Blair.
Yeah, so also that makes no sense. And then also they kind of paint him as kind of like this rational guy in the beginning.
Yeah, and then it's like
why the hell would you stay involved?
Yeah. But I love the next scene too, because it's like she's like, "Enough, like you're not teaching my daughter anymore." And she's like, "I got you off the streets." And he's just like, "What? What are you talking about? I live on 59th." Yeah, that's a little dated. Like, I don't know. That wouldn't fly today. Like that whole thing, that whole scene.
This whole movie wouldn't fly today on any level.
No, it really wouldn't. I guess, you know what? Like, now that we're talking it out, like, I think I like this movie more through, like, as nostalgia.
Oh, yeah, you can't watch it throughout.
I still think it's a good movie, but, like, yeah, I think if they were to it'd be interesting if, I don't want a remake, but it'd be interesting to see what would change if they remade this. Like, the black part, like, that probably wouldn't fly, like, the racist mother.
No. Well, here's the thing. If they did do that, they would have to make Selma Blair an actual, like, relatable character.
Yeah.
And then make it about their love story.
There is so yeah, we're getting to like the scene where Selma Blair loses her virginity, but like, yeah, he's such a dirtbag because he's like trying to get her a little drunk. But like, I think this might be my favorite line of the movie. Like, "This doesn't taste like tea." And he's like, "It's from Long Island."
It's like, oh my god.
She's like never had any alcohol in her whole life.
Yeah, again, does not age well. Like, I'm like, he's just getting this girl drunk. Also, like, I can be sexy. Where it's just like, he's baiting the trap, and she doesn't even need, like, bait. She just walks right into the trap.
Yeah, she's too stupid.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. My favorite thing is she's like, I can be sexy, and she does these sexy poses, but she, like, doesn't do it slowly. Like, she doesn't do it, like, slow and sensual. It's like, pose, 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 pose.
Well, that's brilliant because she has no idea. Like, that's her character. She has no idea how to be sexy or do any of this stuff.
Here's the thing though. If we're trying to go for like this is a sexy movie and we're supposed to be like actually like intrigued and like aroused, and like it's not hitting.
Well, no, I don't think that part's supposed to hit. I think the back and forth between Ryan Felipe and Sarah Michelle Gellar, that's supposed to be like the sexy stuff. The stuff with Ryan Felipe and Reese Witherspoon, that's supposed to be like the romantic stuff.
Yeah. Oh, their eventual sex scene.
Oh my god, that's what I was gonna get to. We have the infamous sex scene with Counting Crows, colorblind. That montage.
It's way too long. It's like 4 minutes long. It's such a long montage.
I love how he meets her at the on the elevators, and she's like, "I'm surprised." He's like, "I'm in love."
Yeah. Also, like, they've only known. I just want to make note, and also I do believe that everyone should make their decision who to bang and when to bang whenever they want. But she's very adamant about keeping her virginity until she's 100% ready. Like, the article was released like 3 weeks ago, and she gave up on that so fucking quickly.
I will say, I never really got the impression that he was that in love with her, that they were really that in love.
Well, you don't. It seems like they met like twice before he's like, "I'm in love with you," and she's like, "I'm in love with you." Like, it doesn't. You never saw them really develop a relationship. Except
I think we needed a little bit more. Yeah, I think we needed some more scenes of them. I mean, there is that cute scene where they're like in the car, they hold hands, and then like that is funny, where he's like they go to the old folks home, and he's like in that one room with that one lady, and she's like fucking all time dementia, and he's like, I fucked your daughter, and she's like, what? You want to play backgammon? Like that was funny. Well, also that scene, I mean, yeah, I do like that scene because he kind of gets a little real with her. He's trying to put up this front like, oh, I love volunteering. She's like, fuck. She kind of opens up too. Like you kind of see the real side of her a little bit. Like, oh, bullshit. Like you don't like volunteering. He's like, I fucking hate it. Like that scene was great. I think we need a little bit more of that.
I did enjoy that. I did like him being like, I hate volunteering. I was like, that's relatable.
Yeah, that was the most we got. I think we needed a couple more scenes like that. I think to really like get it, get the point that okay, these two are in love. I just think a little bit more needed to happen. Like I don't know. Like to me, I always felt like it was all still part of the bet.
Yeah. Like it never really got to a point where I felt I was truly convinced.
Yeah.
And also, Witherspoon seems like a smart girl. I'm like, if you're holding on that tightly to your virginity, you're gonna make him work for it a little bit harder than 3 weeks worth of effort.
Right?
Like he literally just showed up. And also, by the way, he spends so much time blackmailing other people, banging Selma Blair, having meetings with his sister Catherine about how they may or may not bang depending on the events of the bet. That I don't know how much actual time he spends with Reese Witherspoon.
Right? He's a busy man, yeah.
Now, for some reason, no. I feel like every child in this movie needs to like join a sports team and needs to get their aggression out in a healthy way.
Colorblind, I hate that. I hate Counting Crows. I think they're a horrible band, personally.
I'm a little bit indifferent.
Do you like this song? I don't like it.
Oh, I don't like the song that they chose for this. No. Probably the only song I like there is Mr. Jones, which I know is like their most like known song, so I know.
I hate that song. The lead singer's got a big old weird braid thing. I don't like them.
He has dreadlocks?
He's got dreadlocks, but they're like poofed up into like a bun.
Yeah.
He looks like Marge Simpson if Marge Simpson had dreadlocks, but they were like tied and looked tall.
This is interesting. I always feel like he looks like someone who sells pot to teenagers, but
yes, that too.
But he would never sell pot to anyone who's actually an adult because they know that it's just oregano.
Yeah, the sex scene, I don't know.
Oh, you mean the part where they cut to the same image of them just laying over each other face to face.
Yeah.
But they don't kiss, and he's just breathing into her mouth. And I know I'm supposed to be like really entranced and be like, oh, they're in love. But I just kept thinking how gross it is.
Yeah, me too.
Into her face.
Okay, then we have Catherine's threatens to blackmail Sebastian. So he breaks it off with Annette. So we got that scene, the breakup scene. And then twist, Catherine really was kind of pulling the strings. She wanted him to really fall in love and then make him break up with her. That was like part of her plan.
Yeah, which I don't get. Why she was so invested in this? Like
I don't. Yeah, I think. Well, I think she's just like a bad person. I think she's intrigued by just seeing how she can make people miserable.
Yes, but I feel like it would be better because it seems like she's very self-motivated throughout the film.
Well, it seems like she actually wants to fuck him at some point.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if she gets pissed off. I think she gets pissed off when he actually is in love, and then I think she, turns the tables.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's that she wants to fuck him. I think that she's upset that the hold she has over him is gone.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Like, she doesn't... It's pretty clear that she uses sex as a weapon, and that's why I don't get the whole, like... If she really doesn't care, then why does she want to make him fall in love with her and then break up? It doesn't serve her. And it's like, okay, if the character's selfish, then everything has to serve her own devices.
Yes, and also, too, if he's so in love with her, why does he care? Who cares if... Like... Well, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, and then she go tell everybody about all the things he's done. But don't people kind of already know that he has a bad reputation?
Exactly. I don't understand what the threat is. Like, I
Yeah.
really don't understand. Also, I know that they're teenagers. It's supposed to be like they're all horn dogged up because, puberty or whatever. But these people literally have no other interests. Like, you're telling me that these people don't have anything else they want to do in their time.
Yeah, because they have all the money in the world, so they can afford anything. So now that they have everything, they need something else. They need another outlet. They need another interest.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, it's like, you don't think they wouldn't be interested in travel? There's a lot of rich people things that I know that I would be more concerned with.
They've probably traveled already.
Yeah, they've
I
already
get what
been
you're saying. Yeah. I like when she's like, I don't fuck losers.
I don't fuck losers. Oh, my favorite thing is when she's like, you can have me. And then he's like, nah, I'm not interested anymore. She's like, but I want to fuck.
Yeah. There's a lot of great lines too, which we'll get into like best line, but one line I do love is she's like, she's like, oh, are you gonna lose? Like, maybe I should take a ride on maybe you should give me the keys to your car and I can take a ride. He's like, the only thing you're gonna be riding is me.
Like, oh.
And okay, so then we get to like the climax of the movie, which is kind of laughable. Okay, so I guess let me see if I get this straight. Catherine tells Ronald, the black guy, that Sebastian hit Cecilia, right?
Yeah.
And then she gets him mad, and then he's like looking for him. And then Ryan Felipe is on his way to tell Annette that he really loves her. And then they just happen to just coincidentally see each other in the street, and then they start fighting, and probably the worst choreographed fight ever. And
yeah, that was rough.
Oh, Annette's also there. How convenient! A lot of conveniences.
I thought it was Ryan Felipe was looking for Annette. What's his face? The cello guy.
Ronald.
Ronald's looking for Felipe.
Yes.
And so they all. And I thought that Sarah Michelle Gellar told Ronald where to find him.
Yes. She told Ronald. Yeah, I think so.
But it all just happens in the middle of the street.
Yeah. And then it's so cheesy. And then she's like, stop. And then she gets like knocked into the street. And then Ryan Felipe pushes her out of the way. And then he gets hit with the car. And then he's just like, I love you.
It's okay that I sexually assaulted people throughout this whole movie because I love you.
Also, I feel like the way it's edited, like that taxi cab driver, he was like far enough away where like he could have stopped.
Oh, he had so much time to stop.
I love it too. I love how it's like he's like not looking. He's like, whoa.
It's like, this is pre-cell phones. He didn't have anything distracting him.
Right. So yeah. So then also the hit, I don't know. I mean, didn't look like. I mean, definitely would have hurt him. Didn't look like it would have killed him.
No, that was definitely forced. Like, definitely.
I mean, it's probably the most forced death ever.
And also, like, he's laying in the road, and I think the thing is that she's just like, they decided to have a chat instead of calling 911.
Right.
Which is like, because it didn't hit him hard enough. Like, there's a chance that he could live.
Don't call 911. I have something to tell you. I love you.
It's like, well, we can talk about this later.
Also, Ronald definitely goes to jail, right? Like,
not down
has to go to jail. Probably loses his cello license.
Is there a cello?
I don't know, maybe.
He loses his pre-Juilliard cello license.
I want to know what happens to Ronald. Does he just go to jail? I guess so.
I hope Ronald has a great life, because I feel like he put up with a lot of shit for very little reward in this movie. Favorite Ronald moment was Sarah Michelle Gellar. Ryan Felipe walks into her room, and they start talking about shit. And for some reason, out of nowhere, Ryan Felipe pulls out the bottom of her bed, and Ronald's hiding like a mummy underneath it.
Yeah, like, that's the thing too. Like, he's so mad that what's her name got hit by Ryan Felipe. But like, you're fucking banging Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, it's like, but you're cheating on her with Sarah, but for some reason you feel like you have the moral high ground.
Yeah, so that didn't really work. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that they could have done better. Like, I don't know, really establish like the Selma Blair Ronald relationship. Yeah,
like, I feel like if we actually spend more time like with them, and like, also if her character was just more bearable. I think that's the thing. It's like falling in love with I don't know. I feel like a Boppet has more intelligence than Selma Blair in this movie.
Yeah. She's just almost too stupid where you just can't get really behind her.
Yeah, I'm like, why is Ronald in love with her?
It's kind of like the comedic relief, kind of, in a way.
Yeah. Well, it's like, they're supposed to be like, oh, she's so naive. I'm like, naive doesn't mean...
No, she's borderline mentally handicapped.
Yeah.
Like, for real, though. Like...
I agree with you, because, like, she's not retaining any information when they tell her.
No, she's just like, cherries.
Oh, I love it when so Selma Blair and Ryan Felipe, and he has to tell her that it's quiet time.
Oh God, that's so great. He just like pushes her. He's like, oh, it's quiet time. We just have to reflect on what we've done.
I'm like, oh my God. Like, the fact that she's like into that all, I'm like, that may have been the most off-putting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. And then my last little note, obviously we have the ending. Sebastian had sent Annette the journal. She made copies of it. Mm-hmm. And then I guess this is at his funeral, Sebastian's funeral. Catherine's talking, and then everybody's like leaving. Everyone's leaving the church, and then, basically the journal basically spelled everything out, the bet, and everything that happened. And then I love when she's like, the teacher grabs her little necklace and sees the Coke, and he's just like shaking his head. And meanwhile, Bittersweet Symphony's playing by the. I thought it
was his dad, her dad.
Was that her dad?
I thought that it was Barrett. I was like, why the fuck are they showing up? That's what I thought was the woman and man behind her were her parents.
Oh shit! I didn't even notice that, because we don't fucking know anything about the parents.
Yeah, I just assumed that it was them. Because I figured that, maybe you never spent time with him, but you would make time to go to your son's funeral.
It's like, no, we're in Aruba. Sorry.
Yeah, we have to go to Japan for the trade agreement. Also, we don't know what any of these people do for a living, and that annoyed me the whole entire time.
I mean, I don't think it ultimately really doesn't matter that much. But, yeah. Would have been nice to get a little information on the parents. But then, Reese Witherspoon drives off in his car, and it's a bittersweet symphony, and that's the end of our film.
It is. I love it when everyone turns to Sarah Michelle Gellar and they're like, "What?" It's like, also like no one. I just don't understand how Ryan Felipe is acquitted of everything because he publishes his unnecessarily detailed novel, which looks like something Ted Bundy would have wrote.
Yeah, it is a little like it does have like a like, you remember in movie 7 where like they break into his apartments, and I think they find all the like the notebooks and stuff. It's kind of like that a little bit.
At least that makes a little bit more sense, because at least it's about his day-to-day life, and he talks about other things along the way.
Yeah.
I always feel like a journal would have some boring stuff in it, like, today I went to Wendy's and I got a Baconator, and then I banged Selma Blair. Like, not as detailed and curated as that journal is, with illustrations.
Oh man, Wendy's sounds good right about now. I might get some Wendy's after this.
Well, you know what? A baked potato does sound good. I'm not gonna lie to you on that one.
I guess, okay. Anything else you'd like to add for notes?
Let's see. I think we hit on a majority of the movie. I did think the houses and set decorating were really pretty.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, the sets were nice and stuff. I think that's about it. I think we pretty much went through the whole movie.
Yeah.
I got trivia. Trivia is very interesting.
Okay.
So, Columbia Pictures wanted Katie Holmes to play Annette, but writer and director Roger Kumble didn't think she had enough strength of character for the role. Ryan Felipe was already signed on as Sebastian when Kumble asked about his girlfriend, Reese Witherspoon, so these guys were an item at the time. And basically, they took Reese out to dinner, and they got drunk, and basically by the end of the dinner, Kumble was like, he was like on his knees begging her to play the part.
Oh my God.
But Katie Holmes, I don't know. So Molly has been watching a lot of Dawson's Creek recently, and I don't know. I think Katie Holmes would have been good for that part. I really do.
Yeah, I think she would have too. I don't understand the strength of character. I feel like they both, like, I feel like Annette's the only character in that movie that actually feels like a teenager a little bit.
Yeah. Reese Witherspoon's fine. But I don't know. Katie Holmes, I think, would have done all right.
I think that would have put the 90s cherry on the 90s sundae.
Right. I think also, was this the movie that, like, I don't know what Reese Witherspoon did before this. I think this was the movie that kind of made Reese Witherspoon big.
Was it?
I kind of feel like, because after this, she did Legally Blonde, and actually, like, Reese Witherspoon, out of all these actors, she's gone on to have, like, the biggest career.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. I think this is kind of like the first one that took off. I may be wrong, so.
I mean, I know she acted in stuff before, but, like, I don't know what she did before, but yeah, I think this was kind of like a breakout, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know what Ryan Felipe and Sarah Michelle Gellar are up to anymore.
Yeah. So one thing I would like to side note is that there is a Cruel Intentions 2 and 3 that I watched the trailers for.
Oh my god. You haven't seen them, you've just seen the trailers.
I just watched the trailers because I didn't know they existed until I started doing research for this podcast. I definitely recommend putting the links to them in the bio because they are truly awful. Like, everything I don't like about this movie, they in the second and third ones.
That's what I love about the 90s, early 2000s. Like, any, like, movie that was just modestly successful got, like, a straight to DVD, like,
oh, yeah.
Like, release. Like, I remember, like, American Psycho 2, like, there was that, like.
Oh, with Mila Kunis.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I want to.
It's so bad.
I hear it's terrible. But yeah, just anything that was just the least bit successful, they just milked it and put a sequel on DVD. The movie was originally called Cruel Inventions, but test audiences thought that it made it sound like a science fiction film, so the name changed before it was released. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, I'm like, that makes no sense.
Cruel Inventions? The hell?
I think it's supposed to be like they're the puppet masters and everyone else is just their little toys, but yeah, no.
No, Cruel Intentions is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good title. I think that.
Yeah, definitely.
And they don't do that thing. I will say this, to the credit of the movie, they don't do that thing where they say the movie title, which is one of my least favorite things.
Oh, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Trying to think of an example where it's really funny. I can't off the top of my mind. I'm sure it will come to us. Okay, the sex scene was Colorblind by Counting Crows. The director originally wanted the song To Sheila by Smashing Pumpkins, but Billy Corgan turned them down. I've actually heard that song. It's on their fourth album, Adore, which is a great album. Love the song. Would have been way fucking better. I hate Counting Crows.
Oh.
I would have been totally down with the Smashing Pumpkins song.
I do agree with you on that. I'm not really. Me and the 90s have a complex relationship.
Well, you were born in like 96, right?
Yep.
So you were like 3 when this came out?
Yeah, I probably would have been 3.
So
I was not.
You're more 2000s. That's like more your decade.
Yeah, I was born in a weird year where I don't really belong to either. Like, I kind of have a little bit of everything going on. But, yeah, no, it's more like the, yeah, with the music and, like, the fashion, like, the whole I'm not gonna trying look, where it's like, oh, I don't care. But I definitely care. Feels like the general vibe of the 90s.
Yes. Okay, the scene in which Annette slaps Sebastian was unscripted. I guess Reese Witherspoon and Ryan Felipe were so into their scene that she slapped him unexpectedly. And Felipe's reaction is genuine. And I guess he was like so distraught over that scene that he like went outside and like barfed. That's what I have in IMDb trivia.
Well, they got married and they had 2 kids.
They got married. Yeah. I think they were dating when this movie came out, and then they got married, and yeah, they had 2 kids. I think, yeah, they're divorced now.
Yeah, they got divorced in 2008.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
I actually have a fact, real quick.
Okay.
It says the writer-director Roger Cromwell initially wrote this script in 12 days, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like,
I get that too.
It feels like it was written in 12 days.
Hey, I mean, well, I didn't even go over box office. I mean, the movie was like not a huge hit, but like I think it made $38 million in the U.S. and $76 million worldwide, and it had a budget of $10 million. So for 12 days, and I think it only like, I think it wasn't a long shoot. I think they only filmed it like in like a couple weeks. So
Which makes sense. I mean, they use the same sets over and over.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, for they didn't. Seems like they didn't put a lot of time in the movie, but it did well. So
yeah, hey. I mean, hey, it made it. I mean, the budget was $10 million, and they made quite a bit. So,
let's see here. I got another one. Towards the end of the film, when Catherine tells Ronald that Sebastian had hit her, the actual scene of Sebastian striking her was filmed, but it was deleted because the dialogue from Sebastian during this point didn't fit his character. And the writers decided to let the audience decide for themselves whether he actually did hit Catherine or she made it up. Oh, shit. So Ronald's mad that Catherine got hit, not
Selma Blair. Oh,
shit. That makes a little bit more sense now.
It does, but also straight up, the fact that we can't keep up with this information the script actually gives us.
That makes a little bit more sense because, yeah, he's banging Catherine, and I think he kind of likes Catherine a little bit more now.
Yeah, I have no clue what.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of. Okay, so yeah, for the record, yeah. So he thought Catherine got hit.
Yeah, listen, I don't know why Ronald wants to date or bang anyone in this movie. It feels like he should have packed his bags and went home. And
if we're gonna go with that, like he's mad that Catherine got hit. I never really felt that he like really liked Catherine. I thought he was just kind of fucking her.
Yeah, I thought it was just like, well, I'm here, why not?
And I kind of thought like, okay, like he really likes Selma Blair, but like he's just kind of fucking Catherine just as like a side piece.
Oh shit, I completely forgot about this moment, but it made me laugh for about 20 minutes. When Sarah Michelle Gellar explains that Selma Blair had an orgasm.
Oh God. Yeah, you take this one.
Like, oh my God. So Sarah Michelle Gellar and Selma Blair's girl talks are the worst in this movie. There's a part where so this is after the Long Island tea incident.
Yes.
Where he's like trying to take photos of her sexy, and then he goes down on her. And she tells him, she previously told Sarah Michelle Gellar that she was assaulted, and Sarah Michelle Gellar makes her think that she wasn't, which is a horrible thing in general. And then she's like, well, didn't you enjoy it?
Well, it was so funny. She's like, well, did he like rape you? She's like, well, no. Well, did he like force you to give a blowjob? She's like, well, no. What? What's the problem?
I'm like, this feels very uncomfortable. Yeah. But okay, let's keep going. And so then she's like, well, I felt like really good, and then I felt weird, and then I felt tingly, and then it felt like an explosion. Like she described it like a toddler.
Her performance is really weird and just kind of,
and then she's like, Cecile, you had an orgasm. You're a woman now. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with everyone in this movie? And oh my God, it's just like the dumbest thing possible. And she's like, I am, yay! And then she hugs Catherine, and then second shove of the movie.
Yeah, I love the Cecile shoves. They're great.
Yeah, we should have done a count of the Cecile shoves.
There's two. I think there's two. Maybe
there's two really big ones, but I think that they push her around a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. So there was an alternate ending in the script. One version of Roger Kumble's screenplay had an ending where Annette, instead of publishing the journal and crushing Catherine, keeps it to herself and announces her cruel intentions to play games on Catherine under the threat of revealing the contents. So she was going to blackmail her.
Okay, so that makes the passive-aggressive bathroom scene at the funeral make more sense.
Yes.
Because there's a scene at the end where they're at the funeral.
Yes.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar and Annette are in the bathroom, and they're being very passive-aggressive. They're like, tragedy, isn't it? Yeah, it's a tragedy that my brother's dead. If you ever need to talk and need a friend. And then she just leaves. And I'm like, that scene accomplished nothing. And so it makes sense that there was a version where she blackmails her.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. Like, what was the point of that scene? Like, she doesn't know that you gave everybody the journal. So what? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a little weird. Also, and this is my last tidbit.
Okay.
There was supposed to be a TV show. There was a pilot that was, I don't know if it was shot. I think it was shot in 2015, NBC. And it was going to be like, so I think Sarah Michelle Gellar was going to come back because that makes sense. Like, what is she up to now? Reese Witherspoon was not. She was going to be recasted. Which makes sense because Reese Witherspoon's still a pretty big star.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, they come back as their original characters and play, like, I'm assuming that their children are now doing
this? Yes. So I guess Annette was pregnant. So it was going to be Annette Hargrove's son. And then, yeah, I guess he was going to go to that school. And yeah.
Yeah, they're going to do the reverse, which is, son and daughter, I'm assuming, fall in love. I also would kill to see the ghost of Ryan Felipe.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
Annette. Oh, also, by the way, probably definitely is going to end up being Ryan Felipe's kid, her son.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It was Ryan Felipe's kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess NBC decided not to do it, which probably for the best.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
I thought that was interesting. That's all I got for trivia. Anything else you looked up or anything?
No, just the 12 years thing. I mean, the 12 days script writing.
12 years. Yeah, this movie was like Boyhood. It took 12 years to make.
They really put in the elbow grease for the 12 years that it took to produce it. Yeah, no, that was really the only thing fact-wise.
All right, categories.
Okay.
What's the best scene of the movie?
Best scene. I mean, are we talking like just pure enjoyment?
Well, so I do have. So let me give you a rundown of the category. So I have best scene, worst scene, best quote, best unintentional comedic moment. So maybe you might want to save what you're about to say for that one. And
fair
then
enough.
I have best performance, and then I have worst performance.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna say probably the scene where they establish the bet.
I was gonna go with that too. I mean, you disagree. I think you think it's kind of like not that great, but I don't know. That's the movie that sets up everything. That's like I think Ryan Felipe and Sarah Michelle Gellar have really good chemistry in that scene. Yeah, I think that's a really well done scene. Personally,
I think that there's just a whole, just the whole scene though. Like the fact that he's reading the article, he's looking out the window like a supervillain, and he's like, "Think about it. I get to take this version. She will be my best conquest." Like, I'm like, what? And then, like, he's like, look at this article. And then he pulls out his reading glasses, like his cheaters, that he needs to read the article. And Sarah Michelle Gellar's like, oh, well, that's a real challenge.
Worst scene of the movie.
Worst scene? I mean, if we're talking about, like, scenes that have just no function in the film, I say the passive-aggressive bathroom scene is probably the worst scene. It serves no function in the film. It makes no sense. It doesn't move anything forward. It is uninteresting to watch from beginning to end.
I think for me, the death scene.
The death scene is bad.
That's really bad. And it's kind of cheesy. I love you.
Also, I love the fact that, like, her head hits the concrete, like, she falls hard, and they just do, like, a little bit of blood on her temple.
Yeah, it's just the way it's edited. I don't know. I mean, this was like 10 million. It's not like a super, super high budget, but I don't know. Just like the way it was edited, it was just kind of cheesy and like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I agree with Roger Ebert. Like, I like the movie up until the end, and then it's like kind of silly and melodramatic.
Well, it's also like, if you don't have the money to do that scene properly, it's like, rewrite it.
Yeah.
Like, rewrite it at that point, or I don't think it's a matter of not having the budget. I think it's just bad editing, where it's just timed poorly.
Yes. Yeah, like she falls on the road, and then it's like, okay, that taxi is like 20 yards away, and I mean, I don't know.
It has so much time to stop.
Yes.
It's almost like intentionally is like, I kind of want to hit her with my car.
Yeah, it's like Austin Powers. It's like, no! And it's like 100 feet away. Now, best unintentional comedic moment. I'm gonna throw this one at you. I kind of laughed when
they're about to go swimming, and Reese Witherspoon, like, she's like walking into the pool room, and then Ryan Felipe is just like butt ass naked, and he's like, "Don't look at me. I'm trying to get, I'm trying to get my bathing suit on."
Yeah, and the fact that she still swims with him after that, like she's still like, okay.
Yeah.
And also she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you're the one changing in the middle of a public space.
Yes, that was kind of funny to me. Also, yeah, and then the ending is kind of unintentionally funny too.
Yeah, where they play that dun 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 dun, and like Catherine loses her literal control over the crowd.
Oh, I was thinking like the death scene. That was kind of unintentional funny.
Oh, the death scene was definitely unintentionally funny. Personally, for me, that the forced lesbian park kiss scene, where it starts off, nothing in that scene makes any sense. It starts off with Sarah Michelle Gellar, brushing Selma Blair's hair.
Yeah, it is kind of a weird scene, like, because you have to bear in mind that, like, Sarah Michelle Gellar is really just using her. She's manipulating her to get back at her. And I don't know. It's like she's like making out with her, so it's like, okay, is she sexually attracted to her? I don't know.
Then also, like, why have Ryan Felipe bang her? Why don't you just bang her? Like, cut out the middleman.
Well, that was 90s. That was like taboo back then.
Fair enough. I will say this. Also, with that scene, it's just like it felt like a scene that a man wrote about women, but he's never met a woman. He never met any woman up until this point where he wrote this scene, and they were like, "Oh, you have to write about these, this other gender of your species." It's like, okay, and it's like the only thing that they showed as a reference point was like 2 Skinamax porn flicks.
Okay, so I think what happened was it was like day 11 of the 12th day of writing the script, and it's like he's got most of the script written, but he's like drunk, hanging out with his bros. And then, like, his friends are like, "Yo, bro, wouldn't it be sick if you, like, had these 2 chicks make out?" It's like, yeah, and he's, like, hammered. He's like, "Yeah, we'll do that. It's in the script." That's what, like, that felt like to me.
Yeah, it is. Like, I truly have never met, oh, God, what's that test? You want to talk about, like, the test for, like, strong female characters where it's, like, they have to talk about, let's see.
You know what I was also thinking? Have you ever seen the movie Wild Things?
The Bechdel test.
I haven't heard of that.
So it's a test that is about the representation of women in fiction. And so for work to be like consideredly like feminist or just genderly or like, you know, working towards like a fair representation of women, it has to have at least 2 women in it. They have to talk to each other. They have to talk to each other about something that's not men.
Oh, okay. So this fails then.
Yeah, it's funny how many films fail at such an easy test.
Also, I was gonna say, have you seen Wild Things?
I have not seen Wild Things.
But you know what I'm talking about. There's that kiss, like the famous kiss with like Neve Campbell and Denise Richards in the pool. I think that had come out, I think, like the year earlier, and I feel like that was trying to like do that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's what we need.
Yeah, I think that movie was big, and it was like, oh my god, we should have a moment where like 2 chicks make out. Yeah.
Perfect.
Best performance.
I'm gonna say Sarah Michelle. I feel like she really carried the film.
I am with you. I think she's sexy as hell. I don't know. I think she did a good job. I mean, I think some of the lines are a little cheesy and stuff, but I think she did a good job. She was great in that role. So sexy, peak hotness. She really sold it.
Listen, I think she was given bad directions, like the super low lap dance and some of the lines. But you know what? I think that she took a really bad situation and made it work.
Okay, now this one, I think you'll have fun with this one. Worst performance. It's got to be Selma Blair. I don't know, but I don't think it's totally Selma Blair's fault. I think, like, I don't know, probably the way it's written, but like she's so annoying and like she's almost just too dumb, borderline like mentally handicapped, borderline.
Yeah, that's the thing is that like I don't think it's her fault, but it is a terrible execution of the character. But I feel like that was the director being like, "Hey, trust me, you play it like this, the way it's gonna, and it's gonna really work out." And she's like, "Okay," because she's in Legally Blonde and she's good in that.
Oh, she is in that. I forgot.
Yeah, she plays like the villain in, well, like she's kind of like the decoy villain in Legally Blonde.
Okay.
And then they become friends. But,
yeah, I think Selma Blair for me. I don't know. I mean, I don't think anyone's like terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, the acting is not the issue in this movie for me. Maybe the Gregster, just because it is heavy-handed on the broness. But
again, that scene was so fucking funny. Like, oh, dude, and I told her to suck my dick. Yeah, bro.
If they're like all happy, like, yeah,
fuck her.
It feels like a scene written by a man that's never met another man.
Yeah, like, this is how guys talk, right?
And they had to base everything off one Hardee's commercial.
Okay, yeah. So I think we're done with categories. So we're at the end here. So give me your final thoughts, and let's rate this movie out of 5. You go first.
Okay. I think that if you enjoyed like a Riverdale Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, it's a fun 90s little throwback. But this movie is now well executed, and it feels like a movie that's trying really hard to be smart, but it misses on every level. I guess I give it an entertainment factor, I'd probably say a 4. A quality factor, I'd probably say a 2.
Okay, 2 out of 5. Okay, that's your final score. Okay, so for me, well, I don't know. I have nostalgia for this movie, and it was kind of funny when you recommended this movie. I thought you like really liked it, but you actually. That's why.
My bad. There was a miscommunication.
No. It's well, I mean, it's a perfect movie because this movie did get a mixed reception, so it's perfect. But I thought, like, I don't know. I thought you liked it.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that you didn't like it. But we did talk through a lot of points, and you do have some valid arguments. Like, I think I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie more than anything. Because I don't know. This was just a movie like that was just popular when I was a kid. Like, I mean, like, yeah, but people liked it. I think it is a little dated now. I hate remakes, but it would be kind of interesting to see, like, especially like just everything that's like kind of going on today. Like, the whole Me Too thing. Like, what would it be like if they like rewrote that? What would it be like if they redid it today?
Oh, I think it would actually be really interesting if they got the right people on it. Like the people who like, really do like those teen dramas that have really been going off well.
I'm sure they're gonna do a remake at some point. I mean, they remake everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think for what it is and for the time, I actually liked it. I mean, I think for the most part, it's well acted. I mean, there's some cheesy things. There is some stuff that's not so subtle. But I think for the most part, I don't know. Like, I still like the movie. I mean, I don't think it's like great. It's not like a great movie, but I don't know. I'd probably give it like a 3 out of 5. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I'd probably say that my score would probably fall 3 out of 5 too, in the sense that if I hit entertainment value of 4 and a quality level of 2, then 3 would be right in the middle.
Yes. So I think, I'm at a 3. Well, that's Cruel Intentions. Evan, thanks for doing this. Good suggestion.
Thanks for having me on. I love talking movies, and I know that me and you have talked about movies quite a bit, especially when we're on a sketch team together.
Yes. We'll have to do this again sometime. Any Valentine's Day plans?
Let's see. Nothing too much. I have a surprise for my boyfriend. He's in the room right now, so I can't tell him. I can't say where I'm gonna take him because it's still a surprise.
You got to take him to a movie theater, and you're gonna watch Cruel Intentions 2.
Exactly, with Amy Adams.
Oh yeah, she is in that.
Yeah, she's blonde.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, maybe I'll go do that. All right. Well, like I said, this was fun. And you can expect new episodes every 2 weeks. And once again, thank you. Everybody who listened, thank you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks.